Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. My name is Cody Vondell, and I'm back with more of the best fonts for Y2K aesthetic. After we make today's vector logos, we are going to be adding some cool styles in Photoshop, in Motion, and After Effects. And it should be noted that today's fonts, unlike previous episodes, are not free. However, they are worth every cent of the few dollars that you're going to be spending to support the designers who created them. You can also use any of the techniques that we're going to be covering today with any of the free fonts that we've done on previous episodes. Here's a look at some of the logos and designs we've already made in those other videos. Before we get started, I just gotta say thank you all so much for being a part of the channel, liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing my videos. It means a lot to me that the work that I'm doing on screen is helping you with your design process. And if you're working along with me on screen or using some of the templates that I sell on Etsy, make sure to hop on our Discord server. We have a really great community of artists, musicians, producers, creating all kinds of cool stuff, sharing their favorite works in progress, their tips, their tricks, favorite tutorials, music, memes. It's a very inspiring place to network with other artists. Let's take a moment really quick to check out what everybody has been sharing on the server. As always, you guys are crushing it, and I'm very thankful to have you as part of the community over there on Discord. If you're not over there on the server, I hope to see you there soon. If you want to support my channel and get some really cool design templates and merch, make sure to hop on my Etsy. I have pins, patches, t-shirts, hats, a variety of holographic stickers, and of course, graphic design templates that will make your workflow a breeze. And if you like my intro, outro, background music, I create it all. Just search Cody Vondell on Spotify or your favorite streaming service, and you can also find me on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. And of course, at Cody Vondell on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that. With all that being said, let's go ahead, hop on screen, and start designing some logos. These are the names of the fonts that we'll be using today. As always, the links to purchase these fonts are in the description below. So Fuggring is our first font. It's a really strange word, so we're just gonna change that to prototype and play with the kerning a little bit. These big bubbly letters I think look really cool when they're touching. We'll duplicate that layer, and on this front one, we'll turn the stroke up. We'll change the color to white on that second copy, and boom, already have the signature Y2K look. Up here, this is one of my icons templates. You can support the channel, hop over on my Etsy. We're just gonna select a few cool pieces, and honestly, we selected a few that could work with this, but I think this first one, we're gonna try to keep things sort of simple, and I think that's already looking cool. Just kind of make sure that that detail looks cool. Let's drop this into Photoshop. So we're gonna make it nice and big and select it, get it on two separate layers. This front layer, or I guess we'll start with the back layer, the outline layer. And let's go ahead and play with some preset layer styles in Photoshop. I think I'm feeling this one, and we'll just kind of make it our own by turning off some of the presets and adjusting some of the others. And here we can just do all kinds of fun stuff, playing with the size and all that kind of stuff. I think I like that layer style, so let's copy it, rasterize it, and let's paste it one more time. And this time we're going to kind of change direction, so it's going down instead of up. And once again, just playing around. We want this to look super shiny and cool, and I think that's it right there. I think that's the one we're going to use. Maybe just adjust it a tiny bit, something like that. Once we get it, let's go ahead and rasterize the layer style, and we'll use a gradient map to get some really cool colors in those metallic kind of shapes. So the first thing I think we'll just get our black and white, but we'll add sort of a neon, sort of sunset color, like purples to yellows to reds, something like that. Not necessarily natural color, so it's like sunset, but almost like a neon sunset. So using gradient map, we're just kind of adjusting the colors the way that we want them to show up. I like that background being white or yellow, and I think this front is going to be white, but still have that kind of metallic shape. So we'll just go ahead and paste that same layer style on there, and we'll play around with it some more. You want to make sure it's legible. Sometimes when we start adding a lot of these chromatic effects and shiny kind of things become a little bit harder to read, especially with, you know, such unique display fonts like Prototype or pre-prefuggering. So just playing around with some different layer styles to see what we can do. Let's rasterize that layer style. Let's go ahead and add the gradient map. And we're going to use the same colors that we used on our other gradient map, but like I said, I think well, since the background on the layer is the back layer is yellow, I think this one's going to be sort of a white kind of color, something along those lines. Thinking that looks cool. And I don't think we need that stroke, so since we've rasterized the layer, let's just go ahead and cut that. Maybe we can bring this up just a little bit. Push that layer back so it has sort of like something underneath. Just got to line it all up properly. And ultimately, I'm thinking that might be it. So let's go ahead and merge those layers and add the color halftone look so it sort of has that printed kind of feel. And we'll turn the opacity down on it a little bit. Let's see that full screen. Those are pretty cool details. I think we've got a finished product there. That one's looking really cool. So our next one is Kishimen Sword, which is also a really creative name that's a little bit harder to read. So we'll just change it to Funky. And we'll do the same thing we did on our last logo where we just have two layers. The front is just white with no stroke, and the back is black with a thick black stroke. That's how we're getting that signature Y2K look. Once again, we're just gonna pull some really cool shapes out of this Y2K icons pack. This could work, push back a few layers, but I don't think that's what I wanna use. I think something like this would probably work a lot cooler. Let's group those, and there we go. Something like that. So I think what we'll do is we'll actually copy that, rotate it, and now we have something cool that's kind of working, I think, with the shapes of those letters. And let's just kind of come up here and really fine tune, make sure that looks right. Yeah, that's looking good. And we'll zoom back out. So yeah, I think this is looking cool. Let's copy it and let's go ahead and bring it into Photoshop and start adding some color. And for this, you know, maybe we can go for something that sort of has a like an old school drum and bass, or some type of like old garage record kind of vibe, something like that. Overall, I think it would be a cool design. I think the first thing we'll do, we'll get our colors figured out. I think we're just going to use 3 colors. We'll use that dark blue. And yeah, this is another vector pack that you can also pick up from my Etsy. This is the Vector Heart pack. And this has all kinds of shapes that you're going to be able to create stuff like retro album artwork, stuff like that. And to kind of break up the design, we'll add that piece in, and we'll put like some, let's make a little like logo or something down here for the corner of the design. Maybe we can copy that. Boom. Now we just want to change the color there so it matches. Already this is taking shape. Let's put a little outline in front of it, maybe make it smaller, and we'll add some like some text to really make it stand out. Boom, so we already got the outline set up. That's looking cool. And we'll group all those, make it even smaller so it's just hanging out right down there in the corner. And yeah, I'm just gonna write out some stuff, text and info and stuff, find a font that kind of works better with it. And you know, whatever.com. And kind of get this down here. We'll sort of add some little things, maybe an item number, just some beep boops, 10110, some stuff like that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just little stuff, filler content down there for the corner. And then, yeah, I think overall, maybe we could kind of fill in that backspace just a little bit. We'll hop over here in the Vector Heart template Grab that checkerboard kind of shape one more time, make it really big. Kind of tilt it sideways, 45-degree angle. Turn the opacity down. That's looking pretty cool. I think that's a finished design. It's nothing too over the top, very basic. It's like a old school record cover. Boom, done. So our next font is created, it's Valerie, created by our own Arc F60. Thank you, dude, for sending this my way. Gonna have a really fun time showing off this font. He's a regular on Instagram, on the Discord server, so shout out to Arc F60. I think one thing we can do, since the Y is there at the end of the word, it would be cool to make an underline that's kind of coming off of the Y. So, but we're gonna give it this cool kind of segmented, futuristic kind of look. Something like that. We'll drag that out and then we'll just kind of adjust the corners so they feel more in tune with everything else. We could copy that and bring it up here. That actually, it's not a bad look. Probably won't keep that, but you know, just want to play with our options and see what all we have. That actually looks kind of cool. Let's pick a few pieces out of this pack that we can use. And we'll try this one first. Kind of get that feeling situated. Something like that's kind of cool. We'll just ditch that little top layer. I don't think we need it. Let's use this one. I think that one's actually, that's the one I'd like to use. So Valerie feels like we could add a mascot. So let's open the mascot maker kit and pick a few pieces and turn Valerie into like a little character. So just gonna drag these eyes up a few layers, and the same with the mouth. This Y2K mascot maker kit, we just did a few videos on it, but seriously guys, you need to go check this one out. Endless characters that you can make in literal seconds. So already she's looking cool. I think maybe we could use maybe some like earrings. So we'll hop over here and we'll break apart I've grouped that head, so we'll just ungroup it and kind of get the earrings feeling right. Center everything and play with the hair maybe a little bit. Cool. I think overall she is looking pretty cool. So that's Valerie. And let's go ahead and bring Valerie into Photoshop and start applying some color. So let's just select some different parts off of that layer and create a new layer. And using our layer styles, we'll change the color. Once again, we want a really basic color scheme. So I think just black and pink and white will work perfectly. And I think that's it. I think that's all the color we need. We can go ahead and make her a little bit smaller now. And maybe we'll bring her over to the side. Let's actually go ahead and get rid of the outline there and kind of put a new outline in Photoshop. Something like that is looking cool. So let's group the mascot and bring her over here. The name's down there. It feels like maybe we could fill in the corner up there on the left with something cool. So maybe we can make something like a little stat bar. So it's like you know, you're playing a video game, power, speed, agility, something like that. So let's see what that feels like. Let's go ahead and just we'll just create this shape here in Photoshop. Kind of bring it over here a bit. Kind of play with the rounded corners. Something like that's feeling pretty comfy. And let's go ahead and write stats and just find a font that works really well with that display font. I think Gal font actually works really well. We've covered it in an earlier episode. And yeah, I think that one's just gonna work really nice next to our display font. So let's go ahead and change stats to like power, speed, and agility. And we'll make those a little bit smaller. We'll space them out just a bit. And we can probably, we'll pull these lines that we created for the outline, for the underline in Valerie and paste them in here. Scale them up, and it looks like I didn't copy all the pieces, so let's make sure they're all copied. Perfect. There we go. So we can just bring that up right there and just copy it a few times, change the color. Just like that. And we'll go ahead, oh, whoops. We'll zoom in a little bit, make sure we do this right. Cool, and we'll just kind of change the length of each different kind of stat bar. So yeah, super speed, agility next, and just a little bit less power than those. Cool, already looking cool. Maybe we can just bring in this little shape to just add a little bit of extra detail. And we'll select, I guess we'll rasterize this rectangle so that we can kind of select right in there. And back on this layer, we'll just cut out that outer part, and we'll change the gradient so it's like white and pink, sticks within the color scheme we've created. Push it back a few layers, and Turn the opacity down, and boom, we've got like a cool little stat bar for our character Valerie. I'm feeling it. So our last font is by Hunter. It's called Rotom, and we're gonna go ahead and change out the text to say Stardust and kind of play with the kerning. This is a really cool looking font. So just kind of playing with that right there. Once again, as we've done with all of our others today, we're just gonna turn on those outlines and kind of play with the placement a little bit. We can bring it up and give it a pseudo 3D kind of look. And let's fill in that little space right there. Perfect. And I think we're gonna use this star, kind of turn it sideways, get it feeling nice and comfy, and already we are looking cool. I love the way this is looking. It's so simple. So let's turn it into a motion graphic. So we have a Photoshop document that is just 2 layers, the front layer being the text, the back layer being the black star and the black outline. And we are going to auto trace them both separately here in After Effects. And since they're both now auto traced, we can actually turn the visibility off of everything. We don't need to see any of that. Let's go ahead and create a new layer. A solid is just fine. In our effects and presets, we're going to select Element 3D. And down here in our custom layers, let's go ahead and change out path layer 1 and 2 to the auto trace layers that we just created. And after we do that, we can go into scene setup and hit extrude. And the group folder is showing our first custom path. So that is why we're only going to use 2 custom paths. So keep it pretty simple. But as you can see, they are showing our first one. And if we were to go to our custom path 2, you would see the outline in the back. Materials to that come with Element 3D to kind of color our stuff. So our first group, that's kind of what they look like. Our first group's kind of got a neon thing, and our second group is going to be chromatic and reflective, and we're going to use a asset that I created that's available on DreadLab's store, this cool holographic package kind of thing. We're going to use that in the environment to kind of give that chromatic texture something to reflect. So we've keyframed in a little bit of movement, just kind of bouncing up and down. And now we're just kind of playing around with different kind of chromatic backgrounds that we could use. That actually doesn't look bad, the glass preset. That's kind of cool. That is actually leaning towards what I think we want it to look like. So another thing that we might want to do is add a retro dither. And we can just go ahead and change that to like 32-bit. Maybe we can change this to like 6% downscale. Might be a little too much, maybe 2 or 4. This retro dither kind of gives it a, PlayStation 2 or Xbox, or like original Xbox kind of look, Sega Dreamcast kind of look. So that is a really fun plugin. These are all kinds of different like presets that you can use. They all look really cool, but some of them make it a little bit harder to read. Keyframed in some change of color. And overall, we've got a finished product, I think. So using all of those techniques, you'll be creating logos in minutes and applying them in all kinds of cool ways using Photoshop and After Effects. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I have a ton of fun content planned that you do not want to miss out on. And if you want to check out some of my recent work, I just did 2 videos creating and coloring a ton of cute little characters using my brand new Y2K mascot maker available on Etsy. I broke down the story behind this popular vaporwave image I created back in the mid-2010s that went viral all over the internet. And I did a video in Photoshop and After Effects breaking down this holographic CD motion graphic that I created for Adi Shankar's Bootleg Universe. So that wraps us up for today. I'm looking forward to talking to you on my Discord, and I will catch you in my next video. Thank you all.